Hi guys, I'm Lucas Barrientos from the San Antonio Cohort. Today I'm going to share with you my breakthrough plan. Now there's three focus areas for this particular presentation. The first one is I'm going to summarize my breakthrough plan, and that's broken down into two different parts. You've got personal breakthrough and you've got ministry breakthrough. The second thing I'm going to do is describe a few things that I've actually already done to act on my breakthrough plan. And the third thing I'm going to share is a few questions that could lead to further discussion pertaining my breakthrough plan. Now, this basic birdhouse blueprint that you see right in front of me represents the guide that I'm going to use to reach my completed breakthrough plan, right? Which will be actually represented by an actual birdhouse that I'm going to build using these materials and all of these tools. Now, I cannot wait to see an actual birdhouse hanging right outside of my bedroom window, right? Feeding all kinds of birds. But more than that, know that this birdhouse will also be able to bring joy to my wife and my children, my neighbors, our surrounding community, who will also have an opportunity to see God's handiwork through these extraordinary and beautiful little creatures. You see, here's the thing about my breakthrough plan that God has been trying to teach me all throughout this journey. Lucas, this is for your good and for the good of others, but ultimately it is for my glory. How cool is it that my breakthrough and all of our breakthrough plans are for our good, but ultimately for God's glory? Now, these particular plans tell me three things right off of the bat. Number one, I need to use the right materials in order to build a birdhouse sturdy enough that'll last for many years. So for this particular project, I'm using reclaimed wood, right? I've got white wood, I've got plywood, and that's what I'm using to build this birdhouse. Number two, I need the right tools in order to put all the pieces together. I've got different tools. I've got a brad nailer, a jigsaw, I've got drills, clamps, sander, tape measure, wood glue, safety glasses, and all of these things. And number three, I can complete this project if I'll commit to piecing it all together one step at a time. I guess I'm just going to have to trust the process with this one. Here's my personal focus statement. I will achieve strategic, significant, and sustainable breakthrough in my personal life by stewarding my time more effectively. Doing this will allow me to find greater balance in my life for personal care and with the people and things that are most important to me. Looking back over the last 3 years, it's been overwhelming to see all of the positive changes that have taken place in my life as a result of becoming a better steward of my time. Here are a few specific examples represented by these pieces of the birdhouse. This base right here represents the following. My personal time with God has increased significantly. I've started my mornings pretty early from about 5:30 to 7 a.m. and I spend it in time with the Lord in prayer, reading my word, meditation, quietness, and solitude. Now, the reason this is such a big deal for me is because I have 8 children in my home whose ages range from 8 months all the way up to 18 years of age. And finding quiet at any part of the day is usually impossible. So I've had to learn and discipline myself to get to bed earlier so that I can wake up earlier to find that quiet time and space. I don't always get it right, but it's definitely become a new rhythm and a foundation for my life. Now, this wall represents another component of my personal breakthrough. The cool thing about waking up way before everyone else is that it's created margin in my life to not only spend it with the Lord, but to get back in shape. You see, I've been about 25 pounds overweight for several years, but this new morning routine has allowed me to get a healthy breakfast and a healthy exercise rhythm back in place. My morning walks and runs have also opened a different kind of door for my morning prayer time. That's represented by this particular wall piece. Another thing that has been a work in progress but has also brought about so much positive change in my life is another simple one, represented by this particular wall. I've learned to be on time. You see, for so long I blamed not being on time to my family life, my ministry workload, etc., etc. But do you want to know something? At the end of the day, it always pointed back to me personally. So I started calendaring my appointments, meetings, activities, and meetups more intentionally and more thoroughly. I started challenging myself to arrive about 15 minutes early. no matter where I was going, and lo and behold, 3 years later, I'm showing up on time. That's this particular wall piece. This next piece of my personal breakthrough has been by far one of the greatest ones. You see, today, Monica and my kiddos get my best time first. That's represented by this front wall. Before anything goes on my personal work calendar, they get dibs on the time I spend with them, and this has been such a gift to my marriage. You see, for almost 19 years of my marriage, which would include raising our 8 children, my wife and children got penciled in around my personal and ministry activities and responsibilities. My words said that I loved them, valued them, prioritized them, and championed them, but my actions said otherwise. Today, my wife and children get the quantity and quality of time from me before everyone else. That's why that's represented by this piece that goes in the front for everyone to see. Now, there's one more component, which is the back wall. An extension of what I was talking about, my time and calendaring, is that now Monica and I share a personal work calendar. That's what this piece represents. You see, for most of our marriage, she allowed my calling and my ministry to dictate how she spent her time. Today, it's almost the other way around. She's now walking in her calling as a professional midwife while leading a growing practice in business, and now I'm scheduling around her time and needs, and I do it willingly so that my actions can show her just how important her calling is to me. Now, if I'm willing to use the right tools and the right building materials, all of these pieces will come together and serve as a great base of a foundation and walls for whatever else is to come. Are you ready to see this come together? All right, so far, so good. We've got the foundation, we've got the walls, we've got all of the personal breakthrough happening. Now, let me give you some real-time updates, right? Number one, I haven't nailed the 5:30 a.m. goal yet, but I am moving in that direction. I'm doing it at 15-minute increments at a time. So right now I'm at about 6:45, 7, and I'll set my alarm from about 6:30, and then 6:15, 6, so forth, until I get to my goal. So that's a work in progress. Number two, I'm getting active again with my weekly family walks, right? We'll do it in the morning or in the evening, just kind of hanging out and staying active. Number three, I'm getting to more and more places on time, just not 15 minutes earlier yet, but that's a whole different story. And number four, I'm starting to crush my calendaring with Monica, and that has been a blessing for our marriage. Here's my ministry focus statement. This ministry breakthrough will require that I put together and bring alongside of me a strong team of champions that will help to lead, disciple, and mobilize young people in ministry and community service for many years to come. Looking back over the last 3 years, it's been so exciting and encouraging to see all the positive changes that have taken place in our ministry as a result of creating and establishing a thriving youth and young adult ministry, also known as our Next Gen Ministries. However, this particular ministry has been the direct result of several people coming together and working together to champion the next generation of servant leaders and difference makers. Here are 2 things that have come together around my ministry breakthrough, and those things are represented by each side of this roof, right? We've got this roof that is going to go on the birdhouse. One side represents the following. Today, we have a solid and fully engaged leadership team that oversees our youth and young adult ministries. Listen, what I absolutely love about this team is that it's comprised of Mosaic staff, team leads from a few different ministries, church volunteers, parents of youth and young adults, and a few individuals from our surrounding community. This team has brought to the table a variety of family upbringings, cultural backgrounds, education, work experiences, and ministry callings and assignments. You see, the team's diversity has been powerful in serving as a reminder to our youth and young adults that God can use anyone, anytime, anywhere. This team has done an incredible job of influencing, mentoring, and coaching so many youth and young adults throughout our church and entire community. The other side of the roof represents the following. Recently, our Next Gen leadership team has been able to create 2 additional ministry lead teams under their direct supervision and guidance. All right. One team focuses on identifying, engaging, discipling, empowering, and mobilizing middle school and high school students, and the other team focuses on doing the same with young adults. Although each group has its similarities and differences, they're each moving towards the same direction to help young people come to know God, find freedom, discover purpose, and make a difference. When I look at both of these pieces coming together, I can't help but think and say to myself, Mosaic has a bright future. When the time comes to make the handoff, we're leaving the local church in good hands. Again, all of this is for our good, but ultimately for His glory. Now, let me give you some real-time updates in regards to ministry. Number 1, I've started to identify some folks that would be a great fit for our Next Gen leadership team. And not all of them are currently working with youth and young adults at our church. Number 2, the folks that are already working with our youth and young adults are doing a good job. I'm in the process of empowering them even more to lead the ministry that God has called them to. Number 3, this still gets pretty messy from time to time, especially when everyone starts creating their own wins, right? This causes a lot of sideways energy and stifles ministry alignment when it comes to our mission, vision, and core values as an entire church. And number 4, there have been more moments this year that I've lost focus of the goals for ministry breakthrough because of our ongoing building project. But listen, the overall vision is still there. So here's what happens whenever personal and ministry breakthrough come to fruition. We have a completed birdhouse. We have breakthrough. So here are a couple of questions leading to further discussion around my breakthrough. Number 1, what is going to cause me to want to give up on pursuing personal and ministry breakthrough? Question number 2, what if one of the tools that I'm currently using stops working? Could it be a dead battery? Is it time to replace the actual tool? I mean, those are things that I have to consider along this journey. Last question, how often and how deep am I willing to bring others into this breakthrough process? I mean, are a few check-ins each year enough, or does it have to be every single week? Can this change as breakthrough begins to unfold? Here's what I know to be true. If I'm willing to trust the process, I will achieve breakthrough in my personal and in my ministry life. Greater things ahead.